El Nino is a El Nino is a periodic disruption of the ocean atmosphere system in the tropical Pacific that impacts weather worldwide. It is a phenomenon that results from the coupling of the Pacific Ocean and the atmosphere. Sometimes the trade winds over the Pacific Ocean slacken and the wedge of warm water in the western Pacific spreads eastward towards the South American coast, where it's trapped, life-giving colder water deep beneath the ocean surface. Rains that are usually centered over the far western Pacific move eastward, causing far-reaching changes in the world's weather.
Peruvian fishermen first documented the El Nino phenomenon centuries ago when, instead of filling their nets with shimmering anchovies, they found dying fish washed up on the beaches. Ever since, observations during El Nino years have shown upheavals in the ocean food chain and in weather patterns around the world. El Nino has been blamed for everything from torrential rains in California to plagues in Africa. The El Nino of 1997 through 1998 even slowed down Earth's rotation by 0.7 milliseconds.
El Ninos have occurred for centuries and even millennia. Mankind was not fully aware of this phenomenon until this century, so there are no quantitative records to compare past events with recent intense El Nino southern oscillation ENSO events. Thus, while El Nino events are the strongest on record, they are not necessarily the strongest ever. More intense ENSO events may be a natural occurrence in the Earth's system and not necessarily an effect of global warming. Scientists do not yet have enough information to make this clarification.
The term Southern Oscillation refers to the oscillating surface pressure between the southeast tropical Pacific and the Australian Indonesian regions. During an El Nino event, the waters in the eastern Pacific become abnormally warm. The warm waters heat the air above them, causing the barometric pressure to drop in the eastern Pacific and rise in the western Pacific Indonesian regions. The change in pressure causing a reduction in the atmospheric pressure gradient weakens the low latitude easterly trade winds. What? Oh yeah, it is easterly. I'm done.
Okay.
Pacific high. Normally, trade wind blows across the Pacific Ocean from east to west. These same winds push water away from the western coast of South America, allowing cold, nutrient-rich water to rise to the surface to nourish plankton, fishes, sea birds, sea lions, and other marine life of the coastal region. The trade wind piles up warm water in the western Pacific north of Australia, keeping surface water temperatures and sea level in the western Pacific higher than elsewhere. During an El Nino, the trade winds weaken or even reverse direction. This permits the water piled up in the western Pacific to spread eastward as an enormous wave of water, a few inches high and 1,000 miles wide. If it reaches the South American coast, we know it as El Nino.
The impacts of El Nino on coastal areas have included the devastation of coastal fisheries off Peru, dying sea lions off California, mudslides in California, and a phenomenon called coral bleaching that weakens or kills living coral reefs.
Human-induced change. Climate change is a change in climate over a time period which is ranged from decades and centuries. The term refers to both natural and human-induced changes. The term climate variability refers to shorter term, years to decades, frequent fluctuations in climate such as those caused by El Nino / southern
Oscillation.
The International Framework Convention on Climate Change has a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly to human activity that are alter the capacity of the global to the national climate variability observed over comparable time periods. In other words,
The LCC used the term climate change to make only those changes which are brought about the human activities.
A number of minor gases in the atmosphere, although relatively transparent to sunlight, absorb most of the infrared heat energy emitted by the Earth towards space. This phenomenon has been called the greenhouse effect, and absorbing gases that cause it greenhouse gases. Important greenhouse gases include water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and halocarbons.
An analysis of temperature records shows that the Earth has warmed an average of 0.5 degrees Celsius over the past 100 years.
The warming is real and significant, though its intensity has varied from decade to decade, from region to region, and from season to season.
However, it is important to understand that although temperature records do go back 100 years, global sampling was relatively poor until the mid-20th century.
This provides at least some uncertainty about the older temperature records.
During the past 50 years, global temperature sampling has significantly improved, especially with the use of satellites in measuring the pattern of sea surface temperatures.
But during this period, there has also been an exponential growth of the human population.
The massive urban growth that accompanies this population growth causes urban heat islands, cause scientists to question the accuracy of these temperature observations, most of which are made in or close to cities.
These factors complicate scientific interpretation of the records as to whether the observed global warming of 0.5 degrees Celsius or 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit is real, or is it a result of observational bias?
Further evidence of past climate conditions can be found in ice cores, sediment cores, and tree rings.
Scientists noted that the worst El Nino on record in 1997 and 98 would be a preview of our weather to come. El Nino events disrupt weather patterns worldwide. Climate variability and change may disrupt weather patterns worldwide. Changes due to El Nino and climate variability and change may have positive and negative effects on people and the environment. During the past 20 years, more and more people have moved to the coast. Now, 44 million people live along the east coast of the United States, from Maine to Texas, with more people moving closer to the coast all the time.